School never taught you how to speak properly, and I'm saying this as a professional speaker. Now, who gave me the title of being a professional speaker? Me. I gave myself the title. Now, it's important to be able to learn how to speak because speaking is really the basis of anything you want to do in life, whether you want to be an astronaut, a specimen like me, or a McDonald's burger flipper. If you want to do anything in your life, you need to be able to speak. Okay, because imagine a job interview to be an owner, to run a pet shop, right? You need to be able to speak. You need to be able to articulate why you want to be the owner of the pet shop. You need to articulate why you won't kill the goldfish. You need to be very clear. You need to be very concise. Don't be one of these people who goes like, oh, blah, 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 for 10 minutes when they could have just said it in a sentence. Nothing's worse than those people. That's like being a woman. I mean, have you seen how women talk most of the time? I mean, most women, they take 10 minutes to say something that could have been said in 30 seconds. And don't tell me I'm being facetious. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I know, okay? Trust me, no one knows more than me. And with that being said, this is how you improve your articulation. This is how you improve your speaking. It all starts with the mindset. Now, this is something a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people talk about how to speak. A lot of people talk about all this other crap. But they don't start with this, okay? The truth is, you need to start with the mindset of belief. Now, this is cliche. I know it's cliche, but it's true, okay? In order to complete an action, you must first believe you can complete that action. If you're someone who always tells yourself, oh, I'm such a bad speaker. I'm such a bad speaker. I'm bad, this, that, and the third, you're never going to be a good speaker. Because you don't even believe in yourself. And as I always say, if you don't believe in yourself, then how can you expect another person to believe in you? And that's part of being a good speaker. Other people need to believe that you actually have the confidence, because that's a huge part of speaking. A huge part of speaking is confidence. If you yourself told yourself right now that you're a good speaker and you had full confidence of it, you would immediately be a good speaker. Okay? Because that's 99% of good speaking, just having confidence. Now, obviously, you have to know the language, and you can't be... It doesn't matter how confident you are. If you have broken English, it's not really going to work out. But 99% of the people watching this video have perfectly fine English. They've learned English. They can speak it. But the main reason why they can't speak well is because they don't have the confidence. And when someone's not confident, it's very clear. And I've made videos about body language, right, which we'll talk more about later. And I recommend you watch that video because it ties in a lot with speech. But a lot of these people, you can tell by the body language they aren't confident when they talk, because they're like, well, guys, hi. It's like they're scared to even state their opinion. They're scared to say anything. They're scared to offend people, which we're going to talk about later as well. You need to have the mindset of someone that's a good speaker. Literally, in your brain, go like right now. Think of the best speaker you know. I'll name some people I think are good. James Bond, the character. Donald Trump, I think he's articulate. Craig Ferguson, I think he's articulate as well, underrated. Andrew Tate, I think he's articulate as well, his brother too. These people I think are all articulate. Okay, well, I'm as good of a speaker as them. Say that in your head. Use whatever names you want, whoever you think is a good speaker. Say those names and say, I'm as good as a speaker as him. And you're immediately, like that, a far better speaker. Okay? You need to have the mindset. Now, be careful here. Don't be an idiot. Don't say, well, that's it. Now I'm not going to work on my speech. Now I'm not going to do any of this stuff, because that's not going to work either. But you need to have the confidence in the first place. Confidence is a complete necessity. It's a prerequisite. So you need to have the right mindset. You need to have the mindset of a winner, which is something I talk about, find on my website. Anyways, so next we're going to talk about having some balls. And I talked about this a tiny little bit earlier. You need to be unapologetic in what you say. You can't be afraid of offending people, because this is what happens. Okay, first of all, you're going to be disingenuous if you're afraid of offending people, because you're not going to be saying things you actually believe. You know, you're like, if you believe there's two genders, which obviously there are. I mean, anyone who says there aren't two genders is mentally ill. And they're like, well, you know, the people who are scared, they're like, well, you know, I mean, maybe there's a few genders. And you can tell by their body language, you tell by the way they talk, they don't actually believe what they're saying. And when it's very obvious that you don't believe what you're saying, then you become very unconvincing, you become very uncharismatic. You have to say what you believe. So if you believe there's two genders, say, hey, there's two genders. If you say opposite, then you're mentally ill. There you go. become far more convincing, because part of this goes with the mindset. Part of being a good speaker is having conviction in what you say. I mean, think of great speakers throughout history. All of them had a conviction in what they said, or they mastered all the other stuff, and they were able to swindle a lot of people. Because when I say it, I think of people like Barack Obama. Because Barack Obama doesn't really believe what he's saying, but he's very confident, right? And he's mastered everything else. So he's able to cover up this, the fact that he doesn't actually believe what he's saying. But the thing is, if you really know what's going on and you really pay attention to him, like to me, I could tell he's lying. It's obvious he's lying to me. Slick politician. But the average person, and this is some motivation for you, the average person doesn't detect the lies of Barack Obama. Think about that. To me, it's obvious he's lying. But most people don't pick it up. So that's motivation for you. If the average person can't pick up Barack Obama's lies and they think he's a very charismatic and believable person, then it won't be that hard for you to be a charismatic and believable person if you're actually telling the truth. Now, we went over the mindsets. We went over having some balls. Now we're going to talk about actual actionable steps that aren't just, changing your mindset. So first, tongue twisters. Now, when I first talked about this, and I started talking about this before this YouTube channel, I had a Discord with some friends in it. And one of them used to always make fun of me for doing tongue twisters. Like, do you think Andrew Tate does tongue twisters? Blah, blah, blah. All this other crap. And, to him, I would say you're an idiot. Because that's not the point. Okay? I used to have this thing where I used to slur almost all of my words. I know you're listening to me now. It's like, no way, this guy must have been born with an amazing tongue. Not really. I was born smart, which I'm going to talk about later, but not a very good tongue, because I used to slur basically all of my words. And I used to have this SEO agency I wanted to do, which completely tanked to the ground. I've talked about it in my videos, what lessons I learned from that business. But I used to make voiceover commentaries for the channel, and when I listened to myself, I was appalled. This was like 8 months ago. 8 months ago, okay? That's not even that long ago. Think about it. Listen to me now. 8 months ago, I slurred basically all of my words. I don't think I have, because YouTube banned that channel, terminated bastards. Anyways, I slurred basically everything. Like, blah, like, sounded like an idiot. And I was like, this is unacceptable. So, how do I fix this? And this goes for if you have a speech impediment, or if you're just even an average speaker. This will help you also get your words out much more clearly and much more fast, because part of speaking is, actually, I'll save that for later, because that's gonna derail this. But tongue twisters is very simple. Peter Piper picked the peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked the Peter Piper picked the peck of pickled peppers, was the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Just do tongue twisters like that. I completely nailed that, by the way. I'm that guy. All right. If you doubted that I was a professional earlier, you have to believe me now. I mean, look at what I just did. Can you do that? Try it right now. Google Peter Piper picked the peck of pickled peppers and try the tongue twister, and tell me if you did it as well as I just did it. Anyways, seriously though, look up tongue twisters and do them every day. Do like 10 a day. 5 minutes. Boom. You're going to be a better speaker in a few days. I guarantee it, because that's what happened to me. Next, vocal exercises. So these are exercises that help with your voice itself, not your articulation, but your actual voice. Now, unfortunately, I'm 17. I know, I look much older, I look like a grown man, but my father had a very deep voice, or has a very deep voice, I should say. And my voice, I've been told by some people it's deep, so I don't know. But I will say, not too long ago, those same 8 months ago, when I didn't do any vocal exercises, my voice was a lot more higher pitched, as well as slurring all my words. So there's a lot of exercises you can do in order to help your voice, help deepen it. Because if you're a dude, a deeper voice sounds better. I think we all understand that. So one thing you want to do is breathe from your diaphragm right here. So when you breathe, don't be a mouth breather, first of all. That's not really relevant to this. Well, I guess it kind of is, but that's more of a, what's it called? What the hell do they call it? Ergonomic stuff. Who cares? All right. Breathe through your nose. Don't be a geek. You want to breathe in. And this, your belly and your rib cage, like this area should be what's going up, not like your chest. Okay, it should be like this area should be going up, and this is where you should get your voice from. This is where you should get the air for your speaking And when you speak, don't speak out of breath, because if you speak out of breath, then your voice is going to start. You're going to lose your voice pretty quickly. And that's another thing. Drink water. In fact, I'm going to take a sip right now. Make sure you're always drinking water, because this happens to me all the time, because I get in calls with people and I start talking and I don't have water. I run out of water because it's all I have. I have to go out to my kitchen to get more water. And I end up losing my voice in like 30 minutes. And then once you lose your voice, you can't just drink water and get it back instantly. It takes time. So you need to stay hydrated. But in terms of vocal exercises, first, like teaching how to speak from your diaphragm. And when you speak, there's an exercise I learned from this Jewish guy, this Jewish singer. And it's this. How would I articulate it? So, pen. So you get a pen, right? And you hum. So I'm going to hum the national anthem because I'm an American. I'm a G. I just bumped my mic. And I'll say it with that. And when you hum, you can either get it from above the pen or under the pen. What you want to do when you speak is you want to get this resonance from above the pen. So, hey, boy. That's under the pen. And then, so you want to imagine it going from below the pen to above the pen. And when you speak, you want to get your air from your diaphragm up, but you want to speak from above the pen, the proverbial pen, right? And when you do this, because the thing is, if you try speaking from really low, then it's very hard to actually speak properly, right? And you also sound kind of like an idiot. It doesn't even make that much of a difference either. I've tested it. You want to speak from above, right? So you speak much clearer. And also, you want to yawn a lot. This is the Morgan Freeman. You want to yawn all of the time. Just yawn. Just keep yawning, because that relaxes the vocal cords. And when your vocal cords are relaxed, then your voice will deepen. There's humming. You beat on your chest. That's a good one. There's a few singing exercises you can do, like singing in general actually helps. Well, what's the other exercises? You stick your tongue. I'm not going to do this on camera because it's going to get, I already know what's going to happen in the future. So you stick your tongue out and you do the same, you just hum do the national anthem. You hum the national anthem with your tongue out, and you also can do the national anthem while doing ing, like sing, the end of it, ing, like you do it the ing sound, but you hum the national anthem through that sound. I'm sure that makes sense to you. That one works as well. And also, just speaking intensely. Whenever you speak, try speaking with a deeper inflection. And, it'll be funny. Maybe my voice is just deepened just now because I just talked about it. But once you get used to it, it will be far easier. If you watch my videos, I've seen some videos I sound good. Some videos, not so much. Some videos I sound high-pitched. You want to get used to it. This thing takes time. Remember that. So those are the exercises. Then there's the pen exercises, which I think are very good. So when you do your tongue twisters, once you get good at them, you want to do them with a pen in your mouth instead. So, like here. Peter Puffer picked a pickle peppers, a peck of pickle peppers, Peter Puffer picked a Peter Puffer picked a pickle peppers, a peck of pickle peppers, Peter Puffer picked. And that helps you get your words out much clearer. Like right now, I feel the difference. Like, try me right now. You're probably looking like, oh, this guy's crazy. No, try me. Do it right now. See what happens. Okay? Like, right now, it's much easier to speak because of that. So, I would say, though, that's all for the exercises. Except for the best exercise. I left the best exercise for last. The absolute best exercise for improving your speaking is speaking. I know. Wow. Wow. Don't be one of these nerds, okay, who just gets caught up in theory doing all the exercises when you don't actually speak. And made videos about this. Start a YouTube channel, start recording yourself talking about whatever random crap you want for 30 minutes a day, and you're going to be so good at speaking after just a few weeks. Believe me, I experienced it. Watch my first video and watch how I spoke. Now watch this video. And I already started practicing before that video as well. So imagine how bad I was before I even started practicing. I was awful. Anyways, that's all for exercise. Now we're going to talk about studying others. Now, first of all, don't be a copycat. I've made a video about this. Copy the right way. So when you watch someone and you're studying them, when you take things in from them, make it your own, and also don't take things just because it's them. And you see a lot of people do this. Like, they blatantly just copy other people, and they're not original in any sense. What you want to do is find a bunch of people to pick from. You take some things from each one, things that you like, and leave what you don't. And then you'll end up becoming your own person. This is how, truthfully, every good speaker you've ever seen, they're that. They're a mix of a bunch of different people that they copied from. Could have been people they know, could have been people they watched, etc. They take in whatever they like, and then that's how they articulate their words, right? That's how every good speaker is. So don't think, oh, I'm going to copy, I'm going to be this guy who's, just a copycat. No, because all the people you think are good speakers did exactly what I told you, but they aren't copycats. They don't just copy everything some person says. That's different. So I want to make that very clear at the start. But what you want to do is you want to watch people that you think are good speakers. I already listed some examples earlier. Gordon Ramsay is another example. Find articulate, charismatic people. And this goes for body language too, which I talked about in my body language video. When it comes to studying vocals, study phrases and study humor. Now, studying humor, what I do for humor is I write down things that I find funny, and then I find out, okay, well, that's why it's funny. This was a setup. This is the part that made me laugh. And then I try to make a joke with the same format. I'm gonna find a. Okay, good. For example, this was from Craig Ferguson. I like my donuts so fat their holes are closed. I find that funny. So, now why do I find that funny? Well, the word fat is funny to me, and it's an innuendo without being explicit, right? So fat their holes are closed. I mean, that just sounds very explicit, although, I mean, it's not really explicit if you think about it, but it just sounds explicit. Oh, what's something I made up from this? And what you make up doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to, these are exercises, right? This is how you get better. Well, I love going hard and deep into fat books. I love learning. That's funny to me. So you want to figure out your humor, and you want to study humor. That's how you study humor. And as for studying phrases, you just listen and see what's funny to you. What do you like? What do you think is cool? And then you make it your own. For example, Trump always says, no one does this better than me. You've probably heard me say that before. No one does this better than me. You can, flip that around and make it, no one does this like me. I am the absolute best at this. No one else is better than me at it. Right? You do flip it around, you make it your own. I'm sure you've heard me say the original variation, a bunch of other variations. And you know what? People don't think I'm some copycat of Donald Trump. I've never gotten that. Never in my life. Right? Most people don't even realize. And that's because I don't just take things from Trump. I take things from one person, another, make a culmination, have stuff that I come up with in my own head, spin-offs of what they did. This is how it works. All right? Just write down phrases, store ideas that you like. Again, that goes for body language too. So I think that's pretty simple. I think you understand what I'm saying with that. Next, become smart. Now, I've talked about this before. Everyone is smart, okay? Unless you're mentally retarded, you're smart, okay? The truth is, I'm going to use a fantasy football example again. These fantasy football nerds who know everything about fantasy football and how many points Lamar Jackson's going to get next week, if you had a regular conversation with them, you'd think they're a complete idiot. But the second you start talking about fantasy football, they're going to be geniuses. You're going to think, wow, this guy deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. The truth is, you're smart in whatever you care about. If you're going to spend all your time, everyone spends their time doing something, whether it be video games, fantasy football, sports, etc. And whatever they spend all their time on, they're going to be very smart in that field. So what you need to do is just spend time in fields that are actually important. So for example, for me, Something that's helped my articulation a lot is learning about philosophy, because religious debates, I think they're important. So I learned about philosophy, and from there I learned a lot of phrases. And I listen to a lot of different people that are smart, and I get to take things from them, right? And that's just me becoming smarter in general, and it helps me speak myself. And when you're smart, you can also think about it of knowing about the topic, because think about the fantasy football nerd, or I know someone in my life. You know, when you talk about regular conversations with them, he's very uncharismatic, right? Doesn't speak too well, nothing to write home about. But once you start talking about anime, this guy's he's the gift of the gab. As soon as you start talking about anime. So if you become very knowledgeable in different subjects, ideally important subjects, you will become more articulate automatically. Because this also goes with the mindset. When you know yourself that you've done a lot of research on a subject, you can be very confident in what you're saying. And when you're confident, you're more charismatic. That ties into the start of the video, doesn't it? So become smart. And lastly, mix in body language. Body language helps a lot of people speak. So don't be one of these people who, just, yeah, hey guys. Yeah, well, because maybe if you moved your hands more, it would help you speak better. Or maybe you don't like moving your hands too much. Maybe only to emphasize a point. Maybe you like moving your hands a lot. I personally like moving my hands a lot, but I'm holding a mic, so I can't move my hands as much as I would want to. And I do a lot of hand movements like under here, so you can't see them in a lot of videos. But you need to mix that in. Figure out what type of hand movements you like. Do you like to move your hands a lot? Do you like moving your hands a little? Are you someone that's very stoic? Although I will say, you need to find some point where you're moving your hands. I would say, if you don't like moving your hands, then don't move them. But as far as communicating points to other people, it's very important to move your hands, I think. Because I believe like 80% of communication is nonverbal. Your body language is very important. That's why I made a video about body language. I'm going to link in the description. But as far as it comes to speaking, moving your hands, making points out, like premises in a philosophical argument, like premise 1, premise 2, conclusion. Like this helps me think. This helps me speak. So don't be someone that's afraid to move their hands. Okay, move your hands as much as you want. Because a lot of people, they're scared of moving their hands, right? They don't like being big. They don't like taking up space, which again, that goes to the body language thing, but who cares? All right, take up as much space as you want. Man spread. Let people know you have a ball sack. Move your hands as much as you want. Make big hand movements if you want. No one cares. Okay? The only person that cares is you. And you know what? If someone does care about you making these big hand movements and, spreading your legs, showing everyone you got a pair of balls, then they're just a loser. Or, as I like to say, a secatile. So with all that being said, school doesn't teach you how to speak. I just taught you how to speak. If you want more information, check out my website.